many questions you gonna ask us?
100.
Okay, you no. See me?
Hey. We can go in whenever you're ready, Josh.
Okay. I'm about to fade you in.
Let's do
3,
It's
2,
a good intro. You can put on the headphones.
1.
It's all there. Yeah. We right here checking in each and every Thursday morning. This is the Educational Arts Project. Good morning, Milwaukee. Good morning. Welcome back. You tuned in live right now, 101.3 FM radio. And I'm your host, Viva Fidel. I'm hanging out, riding around. Hanging out the passenger seat. Joshua Jones, he's driving. He's the pilot. I'm just hanging out, talking to some of my kin folks on the block, like I do each and every morning. Thursday morning, you can join us here live on 101.3 FM radio in Milwaukee, and also on the internet. We broadcast and stream live all over the planet. Big shout out to all of my listeners and the people that tune in. Periscope TV/Viva Fidel, the Twitter family, everybody that's given great feedback and chimed in about the past episodes. We want to thank all of the past listeners. Welcome back. We always welcome our new listeners. People always getting turned on to the station, telling me about how they enjoy the community voices, all of the different information that comes across these airwaves. So support 101.3 FM. Spread the news throughout the community and let them know it's a great platform and some great resources being shared from all the different personalities that you hear on this station. And much love to all of the underwriters and the sponsors and the people that make this possible, and all the people behind the scenes that keep it going, keep the airwaves flowing. All right, we appreciate each and every one of you all. And what we do here on the Educational Arts Project, we talk a lot of family business. We put on our creative lenses. We put on our colorful clothes, and we get crazy. And I like to bring some of my great friends, my colleagues, my associates, my comrades on the show, my counterparts, people that I work with in the trenches, people that I work with on the front line, people that I work with in the classrooms, in the schools, people that I work with on the stages, in the studios. I bring a lot of my people in. This will be my first show, and I brought my family in. I bring my family in. Ain't no telling what's going to happen, y'all, for the record. All right, and for the other part of the record is, not only do you get to learn so much about my guests. I was on my way this morning. I said, you know what? I'm bringing my family on this morning, so maybe my audience might even learn a little bit more about me through me and my actual family, right? That's possible. Because sometimes I never talk about my own self really on this platform. I don't talk about the work that I'm doing. I don't talk about the reason I'm even on this platform. What I do is introduce voices. I introduce powerful perspectives and ideas to people through, like I said, through my great connections in the community. And I'm honored to be able to do that. And it's really exciting each and every time, because I learn a lot more about what the people are doing and what the people are feeling, the pulse, of the city, the pulse of the educators, the pulse of the leaders and the stakeholders, what's really going on. So I like to get the backstory. I like to get the inspiration behind the story. I like to talk about what's coming up next, what's the visions for the future, as we all in this solutionary conversation that we share here on the Educational Arts Project. It's all about solutions. It's all about, figuring out different ways that we can work together and we can use our knowledge and we can have some great lines of communication opened up so we can educate each other, and then so that trickles out to our families and, into the world. So that's really what it's about. So if you didn't know, now you know. And check this out. We ain't gonna waste no time today. I'm super excited. I got one of my cousins here today. And I'm gonna act like you're not my cousin some part of this interview, and in some part of this interview we're gonna just talk family, all right?
Okay.
And let me situate you a little bit, okay? And then, because I might have too much fun if we just cousin to cousin up here, right?
Right. True,
and then we might not ever get to the business, you know
true,
what I mean?
True.
So thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up this morning and really kind of at a short notice.
Yeah.
But I just caught wind of something that you're doing. You're like me and a lot of members of our family. We're very active. We're doing a lot of different things. We wear a lot of different hats. We have our hands in a lot of different things, from community to business to performance art. That's just the way we was raised.
Yes.
That's our family.
That is true.
And anybody who knows our family, they will learn that pretty quick.
Yep,
right?
that's true.
We love, we live, we laugh,
Yes.
and we have fun.
Yep.
And we create. We're creators.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'm excited when I get to introduce people to my family, my parents, my brothers.
Right.
And I tell everybody a lot of, I speak a lot about my family because that's where it comes from.
Oh, yes.
I'm not
Most
one of those people
definitely.
that talk like I got it out the mud. No, I got it from my grandma.
Oh, yes. She wears a lot of hats.
Actually, I got it from my father, and I got it from his father.
Right.
And, this thing didn't come out the air.
Correct.
I give my lineage proper respect, proper due. The things and the people that came way before us have always been significant in our family. Our elders have always been significant and the foundation of our family. That's how we was raised.
That is.
None of this, just came out of anywhere. I wasn't raised by the streets.
Right.
I was raised by my family.
Correct.
And I know some of y'all was too, but y'all give the streets way too much credit and recognition. Thank you. Just introduce yourself to my listening audience who may not know you and may not know why you're even here.
Well, my name is Sameria Williams. I am a minister, Sam Williams. I wrote a book, Dissecting the Prophet, and I do a lot of things in the city of Milwaukee with the youth, with foster, I do a whole lot, basically.
So I know that you, to backtrack a little bit, I know in the past couple summers you've been active doing youth events, youth-centered events. You did a prayer in the park event.
In Washington Park.
Our family, I love telling people about our granny.
Yes.
I love telling people how our family is rooted in the foundation of being spiritually sound.
Right.
And not only just for yourself, but for your family, and then again, for the greater good of humanity itself.
Oh, yes.
So, what led you to start the prayer in the park event, and where is that at right now?
Well, I started seeing a lot of youth just out here, and that bothers me. So I actually went door to door, talking to people, talking to drug dealers, and they just, the whole thing was basically reaching out. And it just made me want to do more, basically, It's so much drugs, and I wanted to pour out, basically. So, yeah, that's why.
So you did,
to pour out.
on your own initiative, you stepped out, going door to door, in places people probably wouldn't walk or go talk to people.
The Washington Park area. It was drug dealers at the age of 10 years old out there selling drugs, and I'm out there talking to them. And it was just something, almost on every corner.
And one of the things that, I always am inspired by is, when people grow and people evolve, right? Yeah. Now, some people in our family would be like, Sameria?
Right. What? Oh, I came a long way.
Her? Out here trying to reach out and save
I
people?
Came a long way.
Let's talk about it. Let's go in and let's talk about it. Let's talk about where you came from.
All right. Well, my book describes it all. Everything that I have went through was basically me wanting to do my own thing. We were raised right in church. We ate well, but I wanted to do my own thing. And I was a fighter. I was mean. I was
literally
angry.
A fighter.
I was,
you weren't alone. A lot of we was raised that way too. We was raised fighting too. Let's not get it twisted. But to be honest,
right.
The energy and the sort of self-destructive energy that you was displaying was you saying because you wanted to do your own thing. You was rebelling and you was trying to find yourself.
I was rebelling.
We was worried about you for a little while.
Yeah, I was actually dealing with a lot of dreams and visions and, things that I didn't even know myself, So a lot of that was just reacting to, just doing my own thing, basically. I didn't care what nobody said, you know. I just did my own thing, and that led me to destruction. And that's in my book as well, you know. So I just thank God for where I am today.
So, you know, as we move forward, we're going to refer to this book. We're going to refer to the story. Just talk a little bit about the name of the book. And I know it's coming out like this week. So this is great timing, you know, for you to be on. We support and we promote our local artists and entrepreneurs as much as possible. So let's talk about the book. So as we refer to it, people know what we're talking about.
Okay, let me give a shout out first to Nikki Bird. My book, Dissecting the Prophet, will be held at her...
the book release.
Yeah.
It's a release event.
The party,
for the,
yes.
Okay.
The address is 7219 West North Avenue, Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. It's April 8th. It's from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Thank you, Nikki Bird. Thank you, thank you. Basically, this book is everything that I have been through from the age of 8 years old up to now. Every dream, every...
So I'm in the book.
Well...
I'm joking. Go ahead.
Well, you are one...
And all of our 117 cousins.
Yeah. Well, names are not in the book.
Okay.
But scenes are in the book.
Word.
So my family is definitely in the book, you know. So
this is autobiographical.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
It is deep, and a lot of people may have
Where
a
did
lot
this
of
come
questions.
from? I'm your cousin. I didn't know you was writing
You
an
know,
autobiography. Come on.
You know, nobody really
You kind
knew.
of just dug in,
Yes.
went and got it done.
Yes.
That's amazing. It's
Yes.
called Dissecting the Prophet.
Yes.
It will be available at the book release party.
Yes.
Which is tomorrow.
No, Saturday.
Yep. Saturday. Sorry.
From 1 to
the
3.
8th from 1 to 3 p.m. And it's at Nikki's Boutique on 72nd and North Avenue.
Yep.
And I'm sure this won't be the the last event
Oh, no.
pushing this book release, Dissecting the Prophet. So let's talk about that process of how did you get your mind right to go into a space where you could really reflect all the way back to 8 and tell this real story.
Well, I wanted,
you know, this is your preparation interview for your international.
Yes, because, you know,
right.
people from all over the world is tugging on me, literally, like, and it's just blowing me away. So
this is my little cousin, y'all.
Yeah.
It's on and popping. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I don't want to get all the credit. I thank God, like, first and foremost, because I was a red under, and I'm just going to be honest.
You was ratchet, what?
No. We was never ratchet. I was classy with it, you know.
But you said you was a wrench, a wretch?
Undone.
Okay.
That's like a church thing.
Okay, yeah. School me on that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, now, when I was 8 years old, I started having dreams and visions. I started smelling what death smells like. I could tell all kinds of different things, and I didn't understand it. So I took all of that, and I made it anger. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what is going on with me. I called my grandmother, and I cried. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My mother was like, okay, she may be crazy. You know, my sister maybe even said it too before. But
you know, that's the easy way we get dismissed,
right.
You know, as geniuses.
Right.
Okay.
But what happened is I started to have dreams and visions, and I started to tell things before it happened. I could stand next to a person, and I could tell them what they're thinking and how they're thinking. And that's why at times I don't say much. You know, I'm a watcher. And this book explains everything from my brain, from my thoughts, from everything inside of me, supernatural things, you know, like everything is in this book. So you have to make sure you get it, because a lot of people are dealing with this. A lot of kids are, and they don't know what it is. Like, what is really going on? That I'm having dreams and visions, and I'm seeing people, and I'm doing this, doing that. A lot of people say, oh, he's crazy, she's crazy. But you don't know, because a lot of people are not tapped into the Holy Spirit. A lot of people are not tapped into God. And a lot of people don't believe in that, you know. And I'm not knocking that, but at the same time, you got to get on my train, you know, because God is really doing something great. And I believe that this city can turn around. So that's why I'm taking this book, and whatever I make from this book, I am putting it in this city. For, you know, so this book will help people. It will help people that have dealt with the same things. And I'm just thanking God for it.
That's awesome. So it's a personal journey. It's a story about your personal journey, but it's also something you plan to use as a tool to give back.
Correct.
And again, that's a testament to how we was raised.
Yep.
Now, I can say some wild validations today because I got one of my cousins here, and you know my grandmama gonna see this, so I can say,
listening.
"Oh, word, beautiful." I can say things about my own life and therefore our life, and people understand how real it is.
Right.
And you're absolutely on point when you talk about gifts, especially that children have that they may not understand. Adults may not be tapped into. They're too busy to pay attention. They don't know what we talk about that on this platform because a lot of those gifts come in the form of art.
Right.
A lot of those gifts come in the form of singing, dancing, creativity. Yep. That's sort of the outlet for a lot of those things. That's how we grew up.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because at 5, 6 years old, we were singing through the house.
We was putting on shows.
We was putting on talent shows.
That's
so,
right.
you know.
That's right.
This book is definitely a starter to your gifts. Walk in your purpose. Know your purpose. You know, people will not believe in you. A lot of people won't. But hey, people didn't believe in a lot of people. Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. Walk in your purpose and take it on and just, you know, go with it.
So is the website live?
Yep, it's www.ministersamwilliams.com. That's me. If you have any questions, you know, it's me.
That's what's up. If you're just joining us, you're tuned into the Educational Arts Project, and I'm here with ministersamwilliams.com. You can go on to the website and follow along with the conversation, learn more about the upcoming book release event that's happening April 8th. In particular, we want to celebrate the release of this book. I mean, it's no small notion writing a book, period, right? It's no small notion publishing a book, because you could write it all day and it can just sit on your computer or sit. That's one thing. Publishing is a whole other thing. Then it's really a huge thing to write a story that tells your own truth.
Right, your personal. And like I said, you know, a lot of people will be shocked about this book, but a lot of people can relate, because a lot of people that have this, they don't understand themselves, you know, basically. And sometimes you be like, okay, Lord, like, what's really going on? But at the end of the day, the Bible backs up everything. And like I said, a lot of people may not believe in that, you know. And
so let's deal with that for a second.
Okay.
Let's deal with that for a second, because you're going to speak your story and tell your truth to many different audiences. And you're right. And you're absolutely right. Everyone doesn't believe the same thing. Everyone wasn't taught the same thing. Everyone wasn't exposed to the same information or reality or experience. So if you can, take it one step outside of the religious context. We said the Bible can explain it all. And you give all the credit to God. Take it one step outside of the religious context and help those that are outside of that conversation understand what you mean. Because you can believe anything and have those gifts. You can be taught anything and be tapped in to the source. Let's talk about that.
Well, I'll put it like this. When it's something you can't explain, what is it? You know? And I would tell all of my listeners, all of the people that don't believe in a God, I would say this, and I'm going to be really, really honest. I do, you know? I do. And for those that don't, when they read this book, they're going to question who they, you know, follow. So I would just put it like that, because at the end of the day, when you read this book, it's testing you on a whole nother level. It's testing your thoughts, your ways, your gifts. I mean, everything. So if you don't believe in God and you pick up this book, that's letting me know that somewhere deep down inside, you're interested, you know? So even if you don't, you will be second guessing yourself. Like, okay, so, oh, wow. So, you know, I will say, if you're going to purchase this book and if you don't believe in God, email me and tell me what you think afterwards, because I want to know, know.
That's good conversation. That's a great way to open up the conversation.
I want to know.
And that's a great way to sort of segue into the outreach that you're doing as an ongoing basis. Like I said, you've. I remember one day I was I don't know where I was at, but I just remember looking up and seeing you on the news.
Yeah.
And not for nothing crazy, but fortunately, it's good when we see our family on the news for great things and not, grimy things. So I was like, yo, wow, and I was like, not surprised at all, but just like, okay, there you go. There you go. And here she come, because there's always so much more that we could be doing, so much more that we could be giving. And sometimes it's seeds that's planted over time. They grow. Sometimes they grow at their own pace. They come when they're supposed to come. So nobody could have pushed you to step out there and help others. It sort of had to come when you were ready.
It had to come when I were ready. And I remember the conversations that me and you had before, where you had to check me, like, hey, like, I know you got more in you, so... And I'm like, it's nothing. But that helped me along the way, because I seen my cousins, my family doing great things in this city since I was a little girl. So, that helped me a lot, So I thank you for being an awesome cousin, an awesome role model, like the city don't recognize it enough for me, because I know what you do. I know what your brothers have done. I even know what my auntie and uncles have done in this city.
That's right.
From, thank you. Thank you for being there, checking me when I need to be checked, even though I didn't listen. but
it stayed. That's right. And we'll never give up on our family.
That's right. Never.
And so that's what's important about what trickles out in us, because that's how we were raised. It trickles down to us not giving up on our people. It trickles down to us not giving up on our community, and not giving up on ourselves and our own power. Right. Because you could be overwhelmed by this world, and its woes. If you allow yourself, right?
Correct.
And you could be overwhelmed by, politics. You could be overwhelmed by violence in the community. You could be overwhelmed by a lot of these things. I got to speak tonight at Milwaukee School of Engineering while I'm thinking about it. If y'all able to come check it out, it's a free family event. It's family. It's free. It's all ages. It might get a little raw because they just let me get a mic for 2 hours and I'm going to get crazy. So it's at Milwaukee School of Engineering, and my topic that I didn't choose, but it was chosen for me, is the politics of violence in Milwaukee and how it affects young people. So as I'm, doing my meditation on this topic, if you will, I start feeling heavy and I ain't like it, you know, and I'm like, you could get overwhelmed by this stuff, and it could really start to dampen your own innovation and inspiration if you allow it.
I hear stories of young people, young mothers, and how they don't have anything, and it hurts my heart.
Tell me.
It makes me go harder, because I don't like to see nobody without, so I will feed them, I'll buy them something. If their hair is nappy, I'm going to pay for your hair to get done. I'm not saying that I'm rich yet, no, but if I have it, you have it. So, I'm just not a minister in the church preaching on Sundays and Bible study. I'm out here in this community. And honestly, that's what it's all about, So, yeah, that can get to you. Believe me, I get phone calls all the time about people wanting to take their life. And I told this person, you called me to tell me that you want to take your life. I had to let her know, at the end of the day, God blessed you with all these gifts. You can play every instrument in the church. And you're crying about being broke. You're crying about, nothing. And you can play every instrument. There your business right there. Start your own business. He's like, wow. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's rough.
It's rough, and a lot of times, we become overwhelmed by what we focus on. If we focus it on the stress, we're gonna become the stress.
That's right.
And if we focus on the solutions, we'll become the solutions.
That's right.
And that's part of the conversation here, is trying to figure out where people's different perspectives come from. And to be honest, how can I say, the conversation about church, it comes up quite often on this show. Even though I don't bring it up, but a lot of my guests come from that community. They come from that culture, and they breathe deep like you're breathing deep right now. And there's just always a lot of different passions and also some understandings. And I think somewhere along the line, we're going to start to unpack that a little bit more.
Right.
We're going to start to talk about Maybe not today, but I'm
Okay.
saying we're going to talk about how it all intersects because, again, I talk to filmmakers. I talk to people who do dance and
Right.
theater. I talk to people who do literally like teachers, educators that are in the schools right now. Big shout out to all of the teachers that are in the
Right.
classrooms taking care of our children, nieces and nephews and all that good stuff.
Right.
And then I talk with people who are in the streets. I talk to the hip hop artists.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a minister on this morning.
Yes, you do. Look at the Lord. I will say this.
Watch me work.
Right. I will say this. There is some great pastors in this city.
Is that right?
That they do a lot of things that they don't put out there like that. That I know that they do, But, a lot of them like to do other things, But I'm just not that one. I am that ministry that will be out here. I am that one to be out here helping, picking up the paper that I see everywhere,
Yeah.
I'm going to be out here. So that's
So what are some of the plans that you have coming up as far as like community outreach or events or different things? Because it's that season. I know we talked a couple times about some of your youth stuff that you have planned, and you're planning some stuff for the spring. And you got anything on deck that you want to talk about?
Well,
or anything that you may need support or participation from? Because then we could put the call out there today.
Yep. I have two things. Next Saturday is the Easter hunt. It is free at Veterans Park. Come out, bring the kids. All you need is a bag for the eggs. That's it. We're going to have a good time. It's actually from 11 o'clock to 1. Bring the kids out. It's free. This is what we need. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. Just bring a bag. If you don't have a bag, I'm sure I will have one. And the next thing...
Veterans Park. Well, tell us where that's at. Remind me where that's at.
Right by the kites downtown.
Okay, yeah.
Right by the water. So from 11 o'clock to 1. The Easter Bunny will be there. You can take pictures for free. Just have your camera. I will have a face painter there. So bring the kids out. There's no reason why you shouldn't come because it's free and it's on a Saturday. If you're not working, you're not doing nothing, bring the kids. Don't drop the kids off and leave. Stay with them and play,
Let's put that in bold print. Let's remind people again, disclaimer, do not come and drop off your children. Okay?
Have fun with your kids.
That's
have great memories,
That's right.
And also, the next thing that I'm going to be working on is trafficking. That's happening a whole lot here. These little girls are getting snatched left and right, and they're forced into things that they are not, willing to do. So that's the next big thing that I'm working on. That needs to be out here, So, yeah, that's it.
That's important.
Yes.
It comes up in conversation daily. For me, working with young people.
Yes.
And I was actually... I'm kind of like 2 conversations away from solidifying a guest that works specifically in that arena.
Wow, that's awesome.
Preventing human trafficking and prostitution and that other world.
Right.
I was thinking something that just escaped me. And I don't necessarily sometimes like the term human trafficking.
Right.
Because it takes away
trafficking.
for me.
Right.
Yeah, for me it just
Yeah.
takes away how really disgusting things in that culture, in that world, in that crime, in that, it's like, I don't know, it just sugarcoats it a little bit for me.
Right, yeah. We have to do more. Parents, I cannot stress this enough, be involved in your children's life. I have to constantly be on my children, be on your children.
Fathers, take care of your daughters.
Yes, watch out for them. And don't always push them to the side because you don't understand what they're going through.
Because you call yourself busy.
Right. Have time with your kids. Now, I was blessed to have 9 aunties and uncles, and and each and every last one of them installed something in me.
That's right.
So,
that's right. Whether it was what to do or what not to do.
That's right.
That's right.
So, family is very important. Be involved. Aunties, it's not like they used to be, because my aunties would always say, hey, you're wrong, you're right, or throw something out.
We feared our aunts like we did our mama, like our own mama.
Right, and times have changed, but at the same time, parents, I cannot stress this enough. Get involved with your children.
Talk to them.
Everything that they're dealing with is not a bad thing. They could be going through the same thing that I was dealing with my gifts, not understanding my purpose. Know your children's purpose. Stretch out. What I can say is True School. I went there last night, and it is so awesome. Get your kids involved. They have everything. I just was blown away, So there's a lot of things in this city that you can do with your children, I'll say this: instead of pouring into relationships so much, and
say it.
Get involved with your kids.
That's
Love
real.
your kids. Take your kids on a date for a change. So
That's very, very true. Go hang out at your children's school.
That's
How
right.
about go sit in the classroom? That's right. Pull up and chill. Exactly. I'm telling you. And hang out. It's important for the other children to know your presence. It's important for the teachers and the other parents to know your presence.
Right.
That's super, super, super
Yes,
important.
it is.
One of the things I often ask, one of the things I often ask the mothers that come on this show is that sort of conversation about, what do you do if you have a child that's, in the corner listening to headphones or drawing, or all they want to do is dance? And, what do you do with a little creative child? Like you said, you were quiet in your own way. Then when you got a little older, it started becoming rebellion. You started maybe doing things that you knew weren't right, but maybe it was for attention.
Right.
Maybe it was just because you were acting out, but you didn't, like you said, you didn't even know what you were doing or why you were doing it, and you couldn't communicate it. So this is a real thing that you shared through your book that could actually be a help to parents.
It can definitely be a help because, like I said, a lot of kids act out for a reason.
I should just interview all my cousins, your sister, and the rest of your, because all of y'all have really evolved. Y'all have really changed.
We are, well,
y'all have really grown. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you, cousin. I'm proud of you. Our roots, honestly, our mothers, grandmothers, and our fathers,
entrepreneurs. That's right. Great mothers.
That's right. And they have been in our life. My dad, your dad, they have been in our life since day one, and that shows a lot.
Absolutely.
And believe me, like I said before, an auntie or uncle will say, "Hey, niece, hey, nephew, you all right?"
Oh, yeah.
So, like I said before, family is very important. Very, very important.
Yeah. And so if we could, emphasize nothing else as cousins, we gonna tell you that over and over again. Our whole family is, that's all we know, that's all we about. That's our gospel is family.
Yeah.
And we build family in community. We build extended family. And like she said, we have 9 aunts and uncles who have lots of children.
Yeah.
So we have a huge, I'm meeting new cousins all the time.
Yes, we do.
And I
lost count.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love it.
And everybody is so talented. And everybody is actually going through the same steps and reversing themselves back to what we're doing right now.
Yeah. It's powerful. And I want to know if you can share any of the stories that are in the book, like, any of those transformational moments that have happened.
Okay.
Take your time and take us there and share something that's shared in the book.
Okay. I will share this, okay? An experience I have had, okay? So my daughter, I had a dream about my daughter, basically, okay? I had this dream 3 times that she was walking from school through the alley and this guy on the corner snatched her, okay? I had it 3 times. So I said, okay. So the 4th day, I asked her about it. And she said, how did you know? This man's following me through the alley. I said, stop walking through the alley. So I said, okay, I'm not going to work this morning. I'm finna see this man. Why are you following my child? Now, mind you, these are the dreams that I have. They're even to the point where one time, this is in the book, but one time I was asleep, smelling fire. I woke up thinking the house was on fire, but the house was on fire on the news. That's how it's deep. I will name one more, and then that's you got to get the book. Okay. I say I did something wrong, and I ended up incarcerated back in the day. Back in the day, I was young.
I think we might want to know about those stories too. So, what did you really get incarcerated? Let's talk about it.
I was a hothead, and
you just put hands on somebody.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And I ended up in jail, but my calling, everybody kept telling me, oh, you got this over your life, and you got this over your life. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear them talking about God. My grandmother listened to church music. She is a Your
granny is the church.
Right, all the time. My mother and them, I didn't want to hear that. So I ended up incarcerated with women that have sold themselves, that have took on drug cases from other people. And when I got there, And I was like, oh my God. Like, all the toughness went away. Like, I'm incarcerated. And then I asked somebody, like, what does this band mean? She said, felon. I said, oh, I can't be a felon, you know? So my time in there, I let them know that in 3 days, I'll be out of here. And they was like, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. God told me 3 days. So in that time, I spoke to prostitutes, drug addicts. I spoke to a young girl. She had to be like 21. She took a drug case for somebody. And she just was so naive. And I sat there and I talked to all of them. And I told them, I said, on a Wednesday, before 5 o'clock, my last name will be called. No, it won't. No, it won't. And closer to that time, people start making fun of the God that I serve. Oh, you know, you're not going to get out. You're not going to get out. 3:45, they called my last name to be out. And all the women cried. You know, I just let them know, even at the most hardest time of my life at that moment, I let them know who God was. And I wasn't even trying to. I talked to prostitutes, you know, and I told them ways how to become successful. You know, so at the end of the day, I had to look back on it like that was my purpose at that moment. Because every last one of those women popped up at my church. It was like, I remember you. You know, this, that, and that. And that, at that moment, I knew that God was dealing with me. Because he told me, though, in the cell, 3 days. 3 days. And I said, okay, 3 days. And I said, well, I'm going to be out here in 3 days. No, you're not. You got a felony ban on. I said, God told me 3 days. So, like I said, you know, they were shocked. Even
it was like, oh, yeah, we heard that before.
Right. So, even to the point where a lawyer came, and I didn't even know who sent him at the time. And I'm like, who sent you? Because I know my auntie is a lawyer, you know. I'm like, who sent you? Somebody who I had fed, who was homeless, heard about it and sent a lawyer to me. So I said, wow, you know. So those are the kind of things that happen. So it's much deeper, but you gotta get the book.
So again, this Saturday, April 8th, you can join Minister Sam Williams at Nikki's Boutique, 7219 West North Avenue in Wauwatosa, just right up on 72nd and North. I'm gonna have to tell your other cousin about that because it's up by his residence.
Oh yeah,
you need to come check that out.
The businessman.
Yes, indeed. So what is the overall sort of like the feedback that you've been getting? Because I know it's kind of interesting because you're from a different. I mean, it's no surprise to anybody who knows our family if all of us became preachers and ministers and reverends. It wouldn't be no surprise, right?
Right.
So what has been some of the response that you've received in terms of like really just stepping into your own self and owning it?
Well, a lot of feedback has been great. Some has been negative as far as competition kind of thing, you know. And it's not from people that's not saved, you know. So at the end of the day, like.
So do you have do you preach in the church on Sundays?
Yes.
Every Sunday?
Not every Sunday.
Okay.
Maybe like the third or the fourth Sunday, maybe.
Really?
I'm actually, I'll be at a St. Paul church actually on Good Friday. I am speaking on one of the last 7 words of Jesus. So
what were the last 7 words of Jesus?
It's a lot of them.
Oh, it's not 7?
Yes,
words?
It's 7.
What's
it's
the
a lot
7
of
words?
Them. We got to go through all that.
I'm just asking.
A lot of them.
Okay.
So
I thought it was like 7 words you could just run down. Like,
no.
I will be back.
No. Well, the 7 sayings. No, the 7 sayings.
Oh, 7 sayings. Okay.
So, I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll be out of town soon. So I have a lot of stuff going on, and people are tugging me every which way.
So people can check SamWilliams.com, MinisterSamWilliams.com to find out when you may be speaking or delivering.
Yes, because
and shoot me a message or something. I want to hear you speak. I want to hear you deliver the word.
I will. With let's see. So I do preach maybe the fourth Sundays. It all depends when they say, hey, you're up, So you've got to be prepared at that moment. Like I said, a lot of people from out of Wisconsin is tugging on me more than in Wisconsin. People from all over this world. It's like, hey, but I got to be careful. So I have to pray first about going everywhere.
And it's also it also speaks to the fact that when you start telling your own story, when you start revealing your own journey, it transcends location. Like, it's not like just people from Milwaukee can relate to that story. People from all over the planet can relate to the story of, I can totally 1,000% relate. I don't know, some people might call it psychic, some people might call it whatever, but
right.
I own that. I claim that because I've been feeling that since I was little. I know when things about to happen. I can tell you, I be having dreams. Like, it's real. It's not a game.
And at the end of the day, our uncle Dexter, he said, this is what he said.
Minister.
Pastor. He said to me that a lot of his nieces and nephews has the same thing. They just don't walk in it. And, I was like,
I'm
wow.
a witness.
I'm like, wow, this is, I don't take this lightly. First and foremost, the prophet part don't excite me, It's actually the part of God choosing me to say, I want you out of everybody else. Out of all the things I have done, and said, he chose me. I didn't choose him, I did my own thing, but he made sure, like, hey, you will either do my will or I will take you out of here. That's basically the words that he said to me. So, it's not so much of the prophet part, it's so much of getting closer to God, basically. And all that stuff is added. So that's what that's about.
That's interesting. And yes, our uncle, Minister Pastor Dexter, is an amazing teacher.
Powerhouse of Deliverance.
That's his church, Powerhouse of Deliverance. Mr. Dexter's Beauty Salon.
Oh yeah.
He's a legend. And and that's great, that you consult and communicate. And I remember last time we was all together at Granny's birthday party. You and Uncle Minister Pastor Dexter and Minister Pastor Tony was having a great Minister Pastor conversation, and I was just over there eavesdropping because I research and I have my own ministry in my own way, and I just love the evolution of y'all three. And if people only knew,
if they only knew.
But what's dope is Dexter ain't scared to tell his story.
Oh no.
And he has an awesome journey.
He does,
Yeah.
Once, like, all of my uncles have a story.
That's right.
But the good thing about this is I'm not sitting listening to them talk about drugs, talk about flipping women. I'm not listening to them dog people out. I'm listening to them speak great words and pour great things into me. Yeah. So
and all of us by example, really.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? By example, and that's so important too, because people don't understand how much children pay attention. But it's sort of what you were saying about how you paid attention to what we were doing as big cousins, and how we paid attention to what our aunts and uncles was doing, our big cousins was doing, and ultimately modeling that in some way or form. That's right. Even if it was the bad stuff, we modeled that. I modeled some of the bad things that I learned early at a certain point, Yeah. And that's just what you do as a child, and as you coming up and learning the world. So, don't ever take that for granted as far as what these children are sponging and what they learning and soaking up. And don't take for granted how much they understand and what's going on.
Oh,
you think they don't see what's popping.
You think.
Oh man, you kidding me?
I have some stories of foster kids, and they tell me everything, and I'm like, oh, don't tell me that, So oh yes, believe me.
So, what's that journey been like as far as being a foster mom?
Well, that is actually an awesome experience.
Because that was something else that I didn't see coming. I was like, wow, Sameria's a foster mom. That's beautiful. You have your own children, and your children are adorably smart and lovely, but then you adopt.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Well, he actually working there, and seeing these kids go through hardships, like that bothered me, and I'm like, you know what? I can't watch a kid go through that without eating. my biggest pet peeve is a child without. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take her. And then my fiance like, hey, we can't take her on all these kids, you know. But I did. And to this day, the ones that have came and left, they call me, they reach out to me, and I mean, they just, they find me. They find me, and their parents, I can honestly say their parents is awesome because they reach out saying thank you, you know. So I don't judge them or anything like that, and I let them know I'm not trying to take your place. I'm here to help you, you know. And, you know,
I think that's a great topic that we should cover one day on this platform as well, because we've talked about parenting and how it works in relation to children's education and them going off to school and things like that. And one of the things that is real in our community is the sentiment of people really having a heart for our children. I mean, that's real. We love our babies and we have a heart for our children, especially the ones that go without. But who's going to step up and take the weight? Who's going to say, you know what, I'm going to be the solution. I'm going to activate something in myself that I can make a change in somebody's life, rather than just sitting back and be like, oh man, that's messed up. Oh man, that hurt my heart. Oh man, why they got to go through that? Oh man, they did them bogus. Who's going to take the weight to step up and actually raise another being? Be responsible for another life that you didn't create, that you didn't put on this planet. That's more than the notion. So I've always like super respected that. And we, like I said, we come from such a huge family, so it's like it's almost natural because we take in so many that
everybody.
right. We have so many adopted cousins, and our grandmothers adopt our mothers. They embrace our friends like family. That's how we was raised. So again, it wasn't no surprise, but I was like, yo, that's amazing. And on an educational level, I think more people would maybe pursue that route and step up and step out if they were educated by somebody who's been through it.
I install in these kids, like, you can be anything, you know, you can be great, you can be wonderful, and, you know, they be like, wow, thank you so much, you know. I'm like, hey, I am not the pity party person. I am more of make it. You need help, you ask, you know.
Are there classes like or workshops or any sort of outreach or resources available for community? If somebody's listening and they like, yo, I've been considering that. I've been thinking about that. I just don't know where to start. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
Contact Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. All you have to do is call them. They will direct you to somebody. They'll send you out a packet, and you have a lot of classes that you have to continue to take throughout the years, basically.
So that's good to know. And in the future, we're going to have somebody to come and speak about that. I think that's a good point.
I love my kids, and they love me to this day. Like they find me like, hey,
without a doubt.
Oh, hi, baby. Yeah, they find me.
Without a doubt, I bet. So, because one of the things we've touched on here is homeschooling. We have had a homeschooling mom on the show before, who's also a professional dancer who teaches dance, and talked about, you know, how important it was for her to homeschool. And we're going to explore that topic even more as well, because a lot of people think daycare situations, that's kind of a common theme. And so maybe just on the educational level, there's certain other ideas or pathways that they have not been exposed to, how they could help the community, how to help nurture children, not as like a business or something to raise your capital, but as something to really help our community and heal some of these broken families. And then it's important. It's super critical. Otherwise, what we doing? You know what I mean? Otherwise, we're just talking that talk. We ain't walking that walk.
And that's why, you know, I always get out here and I pour, because if you don't, we will have lost souls, lost people, generations will be lost. So somebody have to do it. You know, we have to start. You know, by me being in church, I am more pushing towards the church people to get out here. Get out here.
Get out of the walls of the church.
Get out here. At the end of the day, you know, that's the whole mission.
That's right.
You know, if we're talking about the Bible, you know, at this point,
that's right.
Jesus was out here, you know. He was out here. He was teaching. He was out here. So, you know, be out here. Be a pillar for your city, you know. So that's where I'm at right now.
I often tell, you know, because it's so amazing to me because I get to enjoy the best of both worlds, if you will, because I was raised in that environment where my grandmother's an evangelist and my uncles are awesome preachers and things like that, and you all have been like actively in the choir since forever, and
it was forced at first. It was forced.
No question.
It was forced. but
they was probably forced too, so they just forced y'all. It was and so the fun part about that is like, you know, I often tell people that those outside of the church respect what's happening in the church more when they can become a part of it, not when they have to go to church to become a part of it.
That's right. You're right. You're right.
There are a lot of churches, a lot of sanctuaries, a lot of sacred spaces in our community, right? But then you step outside, and those same blocks and those same communities aren't so sacred, or they aren't so safe. Even.
That's right.
All right, and that's a problem.
Yes, it is a problem. We have to do better. You know, we have to do better, and you know, always tell people there's a rise about to happen. You know, some of these people will be removed, and God is going to put some people higher. I'll say it like that, you know. We have to step up as a church, as a city. We have to step up to make Milwaukee better, period. You have kids out here stealing cars and things like that. I'm like, okay, like, what is going on? You know, so we have to step up.
Absolutely. And become a part of the solution.
That's right.
And we have to participate. Yeah. That's why, you know, I want to, again, invite people out to your book release. Yeah. But it's not just about that one incident or that one event. It's about being able to connect and network with like minds.
Oh, yes.
Networking
is very important.
And being able to further the work. You know, so there's some people out here listening who would like to join and somewhat in their own capacity support what you're doing. The events that's coming up this Saturday, Veterans Park. Right. What time?
Next Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry, next Saturday.
Veterans Park. That is at 11 o'clock to 1. Easter egg hunt. It is free. Bring the kids out. I do a lot of things for free. I give a lot of things out. Bikes, all that kind of stuff. You know,
and you promote a lot of it on your Facebook page.
Minister Sam Williams. Yep.
So through a Facebook page
or
Sam Williams, and people get to see a lot of your different events and initiatives, free things that you do for the community out of the kindness of your heart.
Yes.
And you know, I'm just glad you made some time to talk with us today.
Oh yes, thank you so much.
I'm glad that you had a chance to talk before the book came out.
Yes, I definitely appreciate that. You know, like I said, you know, I'm being tugged every which way, so I'm like, okay, I got to see, you know. And
you can't wear yourself thin.
Right, you're right.
And you can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
So we're glad you made it here first to talk about dissecting a prophet.
Yes.
It's only right.
But I will put this out here. Even if you do not purchase my book, bring your child to a event that I have for free. Bring your kids out. You know, it's a lot of stuff I do. Just keep watching out because the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come.
And if you are available this Saturday, April 8th, once again, I'm going to shout it out. Because I want y'all to come support, come pick up a book, come get it signed.
Yes, come pick up a book.
Come ask questions. Maybe you have some similar experiences.
Right.
Maybe you have, some similar inner questioning going on that you might want to, just communicate about.
Right.
I think this is a great start to a really good conversation. And maybe we'll have you back to come do some readings from the book.
All right, cool.
Because I can tell y'all some stories about this one right here next to me.
Oh, he knows.
I can tell some stories, but I'm going to let, the book speak for itself and the journey speak for itself. And we looking forward, you know, and we look back to move forward.
That's right.
Because that's a part of our tradition. We have to be able to look back and say, okay, this is how far we came. Oh, this is where we came from. Yes. Oh, this is what Granny and them was doing. Oh, this is what was going on. Oh, yeah. And we moving forward.
That's
and we motivated.
That's right.
So I want everybody, if you are available this Saturday, I'm definitely going to come.
Make sure.
I gotta like maybe clear some things, but I'm gonna pop in, pick up a book.
Yeah, make sure you come because people are pre-ordering from all over the place. Not Wisconsin. This is Atlanta, Texas, Arizona, South Carolina, North Carolina. I mean, people are reaching out to me, sending me their things. I will say this: people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin are not pre-ordering, but people in Grafton, Menominee Falls, things like that are reaching out to me for pre-orders. So
it'll happen. You know what they say about prophets. They're not necessarily respected in their hometown, are they?
No, not at all.
Right?
That's the word.
Yeah,
That's the word.
Yeah.
That's
So,
the word.
you know, we know how it go.
Yeah.
And that's why we're spreading this far and wide. This is the Educational Arts Project. We broadcast all over the world right here from the heart of the city, the pulse of the community, the capital of planet Earth, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes.
101 point, you like that, Josh? 101.3 FM. I'm your host, Viva Fidel. We're going to say peace at this point in time and make sure you check back in with us next week. Same time we get down. Josh, let's take us out of here.
Peace. This was so awesome, cousin. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you get your book for free, too.
Oh, shucks. I'll buy one and I'll get one.
Yeah. This is awesome. I appreciate you.